This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, we're here at the Cave of the Prophets. Legend has it that Chagai is buried here, Malachi is buried here, and some even say Zecharia is buried here. So we'll take the opportunity to say over one of the prophecies of Chagai. Chagai says about the second Beis HaMikdash, Gadol yeh kavod bayis ha'achron min harishayin, that the glory of the second Beis HaMikdash will be greater than the first Beis HaMikdash, which seems quite puzzling in light of the fact that the Gemara in Yuma says there were 5 things missing in the second Beis HaMikdash that they had in the first Beis HaMikdash. They didn't have the Aron, they didn't have the Eish min HaShamayim, they didn't have the Urim V'Tumim. There was no Shechina in the times of the second Beis HaMikdash, and there was no Ruach HaKodesh. So what did Chagai mean? Gadol yeh kavod bayis ha'achron min harishayin. So actually, the Leshem of Shlomo Elyashiv, who's buried here on Har Hazeisim, explains that even though these great phenomenon were absent in the times of the second Beis HaMikdash, nevertheless, there was an explosion and a proliferation of the Torah Sheba'al Peh, the oral law. And along with that, came along to the great masters of the Torah, complete control over creation. As we read in the pages of the Gemara, the incredible miracles that were performed by Tanoim and Amoraim that were not performed even by the Nevi'im. How is that possible, says the Leshem, that only in the Tanakh, only Eliyahu and Elisha were able to be Mechayei Mesim, and yet every Tana and Amora was able to be Mechayei Mesim? The reason is, says the Leshem, that is because during the time of the second Beis HaMikdash, along with the expansion of the oral law, which came through the Yud Gimel Midah Shatar Nidreshes Behem, along with that came mastery over creation, and that is the meaning of the Nevuah of Chagai, Gadol yeh kavod bayis ha'achron min harishayin. And of course, the Navi Malachi ends off with the famous words, Zichru Torahs Moshe Avdi. Remember the Torah of Moshe Rabbeinu. This is the last Nevuah in the entire Tanakh. It's interesting, according to most opinions in the Gemara, Malachi was none other than Ezra himself. Why is this the last Nevuah? Says the Smag, because being that this is going to be the close of prophecy, the prophet foresaw that there would come those who would try to continue the institution of prophecy and claim that God had told the Jewish people to abdicate the law, and therefore the close of prophecy is Zichru Torahs Moshe. This is the last time I'm speaking to you, and the one thing you need to remember is that until next time, until the restoration of Nevuah, upon the coming of Mashiach, never abdicate the law. Zichru Torahs Moshe Avdi.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.